Hello everyone, how are you doing? Sort of, I don't know, like starting out of the blue, I haven't really thought about what to talk about or anything, so we'll see if you can actually hear me and all, and go from there. So how are you people doing? What's up? Can you hear me okay and all? Yeah, so audio's on, that's good. Yeah, I usually like, before starting the stream, I try to do this kind of like zoning, as in just get in the groove where I'll leave my case and everything else behind, and I'm just sort of like clean slate coming on stream. Today I didn't really had a chance to sort of like come in as a clean state, so it's kind of like I don't know what's gonna happen. So it's like still takes a little while to shake everything out, but we'll see. Yeah, like I feel like a lot of people have said it like on weekends it's better for them to watch the streams, or they're more like open and all. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Rolzolo, John West, Starseed, Ali, Tristan, Gina, Waves, Christy, Gabriel. Wow, a lot of you people. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming and tuning in and watching. So, how was your week? What's up? I've been up and down, here and gone and all that. So we'll see. Physically get up and shake. Yeah, that would be the thing. Yeah. Starseed is asking, like, what if you and Ren merges and she leaves her life behind? Does that mean you'd have a crush on who she likes, or like the person way more all of a sudden? Not really. Like, I've noticed the same thing, like, like merging aspects or something else. For me, for example, physical body falls asleep and I get out of body and open my eyes in one of my aspects elsewhere. I will know absolutely everything that has happened in that aspect's life. Like everything that my other part has experienced, all the relationships, everything from either birth or incarnation, every single conversation and everything. Like I would have the memory of absolutely everything. But because I sort of come in as a clean slate, whatever the feelings were there, I might all of a sudden, because I'm more in control of it, I might not have the same feelings. So whether my other part has had relationships, all of a sudden I come in and I'm like, not necessarily having like, oh damn, I'm in love with this person because my other part was it. I will know like, oh, okay, so this body specifically might have a relationship with that person. Cool. And I'm like, hey, the part you know is not right here right now. Like it's a different part of me. So wait it out. But basically, like, just because I merge with someone does not mean that I will like have a crush on someone or anything. Like I know that there's relationships, for example, or certain feelings and like things that happened in the past, but that's sort of where it stops. But yeah, I haven't experienced like where all of a sudden I'm consumed by emotions. Like I was sort of like always trying to work of being in control where I am, what I feel and all that. So that's more of a thing. And Stars is also like asking, if an aspect merges with you, then they'd have to stop their lives and leave it behind. Again, not necessarily. For example, when I get out of body and I merge with other part of me, even like for a while, I don't leave my life behind. It's just that my consciousness shifts. For example, think about your school or your work or your parents' place. Right now you're sitting and you're not there, probably, but when you think about it, you literally can see the room. You can see maybe the table or the dining room or whatever. Like, you clearly can picture it. So your consciousness shifts and teleports there, or you simply can view everything from that perspective. But it does not mean that you leave your like life behind. So if my other parts were to merge with me, literally they would gain the knowledge and memories this body has, but they can leave at any time and continue their lives. So there's that, and at the same time, because all of us, you, me, and everyone else, we are advanced beings. That means that we can be in control of quite a few aspects at the same time. And while my physical body is here and I'm focused here, I can also probably open up or tune into my other bodies, and at the same time have like 5 different point of views. One here, and literally a viewpoint opens up and I see another world, another world, another world, and I sort of experience all aspects at the same time simultaneously. So if you've heard about, let's say, Enki and Lil, Marduk and all those beings, they have these abilities, which is why when it comes to entities or being messed with, they literally can control a lot of beings at the same time simultaneously. And it gets worse. So yeah, there's that. It's Xen is saying, I heard spirituality was fake and the way he explained it shattered my whole perspective on reality. Xen, who are you talking about specifically? Like, who have you been listening, and what are some of the ideas the person has shared? Because, like, I don't, like, the whole thing about spirituality, because religion sort of stopped working, the whole spirituality and the New Age movement became another thing that's being more controlled. So there's a lot of people sort of sharing deceptive point of views, or point of views that are more harming than helpful. Like, there's a lot of like these false beliefs and people tend to be controlled and all this stuff. Like, it happens a lot. VONTOOCOT. Yeah, like I'll have to check it out. But yeah, like a lot of times, like different beliefs, different people sharing what they think about the whole spirituality, New Age and all this stuff, it's definitely controlled. There's a lot of point of views that are being controlled, but like I think eventually you have to listen to several people and choose what information is best for you. Like, find things that are empowering you and find things that are fitting your reality. Because, like, what I'm sharing is my point of view, my experiences, my perspective, but it does not mean I am always right or that I know it all. Far from it. I don't know anything. And I, like, let's say, what I might know is just a little, I don't know, drop of water in this massive, never-ending ocean. So, like, I barely know anything. And while I covered a little bit of this and that somewhere in my videos, there are tons of people sharing what they know, and you listen to me, you listen to someone else, and, you know, sort of filter the information, digest it, and see what's working best for you, and maybe take parts from what I'm saying or other people are saying and put your own understanding. Because let's say, you know, like the person you might be listening to, she might have really great points of views and perspectives, but it does not mean that everything is real or true, or at the same time, everything is true, but you choose what to believe in. As for example, some people are saying the world is gonna end, and others like the world's not gonna end, and they were like, yo, you're in control of the world, so you're the one creating it. Choose whatever feels best for you, and you're gonna manifest it. So there's that. But yeah, like there's definitely a lot of deception in the whole spirituality community or spiritual world and all this stuff. So no wonder. Tiger Shop is, hey buddy, yeah, Kame House. I was like looking at like what kind of picture to take from my background, and I was between One Piece and Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball was brighter, so there. I had the other one like Fox in the Winter, but it's kind of like too sad, and reminds me of my cat, so better not. We don't want like subconscious triggers and all this stuff. Exactly, Xen. Like, we create our reality, so whatever we believe in, it'll be true. Exactly. So, you choose what fits your reality and what you want to live and create and manifest, and that'll be true. John West is saying that he has had a good week. Yeah, like, the difficult time I had, like, it's really interesting. Like, sometimes, like, I wonder, like, after the loss of my cat, like, I had, like, one day of this massive grief, and next day I woke up and I felt like he's safe. Like, I was sort of actually clear from that. But at the same time, like, just today I'm wondering, like, is this okay to sort of, I miss him and everything, but I'm, like, not overly, like, I saw people who lost someone and was, like, really crushed for a long time, and I'm, like, is this okay to not feel that grief or anything? Because, like, I had it for a while, and then I dealt with it, sort of. So it's like, okay, like, I'm not sure if that's okay or not. And yeah, like I still have like leftover his like bowls and food and everything else. So like right now I'm looking for some animal shelters to give everything away for those that don't have it. So like just checking out places that would be willing to take it or sort of available and stuff. Because like I checked out a few places and they're like very picky about what they would like to take, and I can understand that. But still, like I'm like, is there anyone who would take what I have? So anyway. Waves is asking, have I discussed fractures in the past? Fractures of self, I believe you mean that? Because, I might have mentioned, like, I've talked about, like, soul fragments, if that's what you're talking about. Like, fractures of self, like, the aspects of ourselves. As in, you might have been creative in the past, you might have had, like, love or confidence, humor, and other things. And then, as you live like your life, you notice that like you don't have those parts anymore, like you lose those real passionate feelings and everything else, and you're sort of like kind of crushed by life or like this massive change. So if that's what you mean, let me know, because I can discuss more about it, or if you have specific questions that I could focus and answer what you would like to know or want to know, that would be good. So yeah, let me know. Will I be getting another buddy? I was wondering about that. Like I felt like the first few days after losing my cat, I was like, I feel like if I was to get someone else, I would be cheating on him. Like I'm like, damn, like I don't know, like I feel like I should like at least wait out some time. You know, like how some people, for example, you lose your lover, for example, your husband or wife or like a boyfriend, girlfriend dies or something, and next thing you know, like there's another one right away. I'm like, what the fuck, is this normal? So like I don't know, like I know with people they take breaks or they wait a while, and I'm like, am I supposed to, like, if I would like a pet, should I get another one, or should I wait out for a while to respect my cat? I'm like, oh, I don't know, this is like a really new experience. Like I really don't know what to do. Like I would like another pet. Like I was considering a dog because I never had a dog and I was sort of afraid of dogs, so that would be like something to learn and deal with. But who knows? Who knows? Like, I would feel weird. Like, I'm like, cat? Is it okay? You know, like, yeah, no idea, no idea. So Christy is saying, you think the vax is to eliminate our abilities to ascend and or other natural abilities? Yeah, like with the vaccines, the whole thing with ascension, I don't know. When I think about ascension or focus on it, I don't think as in like you're here in the 3D and boom, you're in the fourth or fifth dimension and everything's better. Like for me, ascension is kind of like the journey of learning, growing, getting better. So that would be my definition or viewpoint on the ascension, because stopping or eliminating the ascension or ability to ascend, well, where are you ascending? Are you going someplace? And how could you tell? Like, if the fourth dimension, fifth dimension, if people are like trying to ascend from the 3D until 450, how could you tell the difference if everything looked exactly the same? How could you tell the difference? And so, for me, getting out of body, I know everything's more amplified, everything's more enhanced, there are plenty of worlds, and if you go into different dimensions, literally, you don't need to have the physical body or anything, but the feeling states, man, they're freaking enhanced. It's like, if you have, like, if you are looking at somewhere, and, like, I have myopia, so I literally could have eagle eyes or be in full control where I can zoom in 1,000 times and see, like, across the ocean and stuff, or, like, okay, back to normal and stuff like that. So, you know, there's a lot of variations, and, like, for me, the whole ascension, like, I think it's also, like, another sort of those beliefs that we're gonna ascend somewhere, something big's gonna happen, and people are waiting for something big, but it's nowhere there. It's just not happening, and people are like, okay, next year, or this big, something big has to happen, and some big ass event, and then something will change. And I believe that we change every single day, we get better every single day, we grow every single day, and the whole ascension is simply the journey of us trying to learn and all this stuff But to like teleporting into some other world, well, that's not happening. At least not my perspective. Like, the world can change, but by people becoming more aware, by people becoming more sensitive, more understanding, more tolerant, and other things, and just imagine the whole humanity saying like, oh, well, this whole stuff is actually a lot of like people like from the governments are lying to us. We know, and we unite, and da 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 da, and so like a lot of things can happen from there on. But yeah, I don't think the vaccine would actually stop our abilities to ascend because my point of view on it is different. That being said, it definitely can have some effects on the physical body. Like, I just recently seen a video on Twitter where a person got like a vaccine and on camera passed out. I'm like, okay, just one of those things. Fears of needles or whatever, but who knows. I haven't like done that much research, but like I know for myself, like I'm not getting it. Like, even if it's meant or like fuck you. Like, if people come together, like it's easy to say no. So anyway. It's Xen is saying, I've been meditating for like 6 years and never experienced anything. Well, that's the thing, like, Xen, what do you think meditation is, and what do you assume that you will achieve by it? Because a lot of people expect maybe that if they're about to get out of body or gain this massive knowledge just by meditating, they're gonna get it all. And maybe having some unreal expectations on what meditation will give you is different, because some people meditate and all they get is quiet mind. They're like, oh, I stopped thinking, and like I don't think as much as they usually do. And like, boom, that's it. So like really, different people get different effects, and I would say like, if meditation is not working for you, or you're not getting what you thought or assumed that you would get, change up what you're doing. Like, find something new, or define what you want to get from it, and look for ways of what would give that to you. That is asking like, how is Cyberpunk? To be honest, I like it. Like, the thing for me regarding Cyberpunk 2077, I heard about it coming out. I watched like trailers and like since the very first announcement, I was like, oh cool, a new game. But I was never like expecting like, or like I'm really looking forward to play it. I'm really like hyped up about it and all this stuff. I was like, cool, like it's gonna be one of the games I'm gonna try out. And when I started playing, noticing like a lot of little bugs and glitches and other things, I wasn't too annoyed by it. Like, I was just like, okay, just something that can be fixed. And so like I see a lot of people like really going through the emotional, like getting pissed off at developers or like sending them death threats and other things, and like just the whole thing like give me refunds and just like really nasty perspective. It's like some people, I don't know, like they have this personality or state of mind of a hurt child. Like, let's say if a child that was abandoned by parents, so like the parent is missing their whole life, and that's really bad thing. But when the parent comes back and wants to do absolutely everything to help out the kid, they're still hating it. So no matter what you do, whether you're there or not, and whether you're trying to help or not, you're the bad person. And that's how I see like a lot of people are viewing Cyberpunk. Like, the company, and I believe that like higher ups were just trying to push the game to be sort of like released before Christmas, so that like massive money spending and all this stuff. But it actually cost like, you know, like I haven't ever worked on like developing the games, but I've read those that are developing it, and just like reading how much is required and how, you know, like you add one little thing and it can break. And like that, for example, you know, like we're working on our website and translating anime and stuff like that, and our programmer, he might set up the newest thing. Like, he was working on, let's say, give specific donation or money to those that are translating specific projects, and so people can like literally give money to you or me. And when he did that, there's like everything can fall apart. He makes the whole chat system and everything can fall apart because of one program, because the code is not like relate now stuff. So there's like a lot of little things like that. And anyway, when it comes to Cyberpunk, like, I'm not disappointed, I'm not mad, I'm not hating the game. I'm like, okay, there's some glitches and little bugs that can be fixed. I noticed like a few little things that I would like added, and sort of like knowing the CD Projekt Red, like I believe that like they can fix it all. Like we saw companies, or like let's say the guys that published the No Man's Sky, the game was like, everyone was disappointed at the beginning, but now they had the redemption arc, and everyone's like, damn, this is the best company, these people are great and all this stuff, because they spent years fixing it. So like I believe that like CD Projekt Red can totally fix Cyberpunk. And for me, like, I played a game and I was recording it, and I thought like, okay, I'm gonna upload the game, and I sort of like reviewed the video, and the sound wasn't working. Like literally, like something was off with my OBS, and I didn't record the sound of the game. So I'm like, I can upload the muted game, but like, damn, like it's not as fun. So like I don't know, like I might retry it, but anyway, yeah, Cyberpunk is cool. Like I'm pretty sure like developers will definitely like sort of like spend their time adding into the game, but until then, like it's playable. I like it. No big deal for me. Anyway, coming back to different questions, and what people are talking about, Cosmos is saying, "Hi Akvile, I had a rough time yesterday, pretty much attacked and all. I believe they tried to trigger us so much in this time period." Exactly, yeah, like I totally hear or sort of know what you mean. Like, some people like assume like stuff's gonna happen, or like they've read now and sort of like, okay, like on December 21st, big events, big stuff, woo, you know. I myself, like, I don't view it as big ass change or anything. I'm like, just another day in life for me, and you know, might be completely wrong. We'll see what happens. But I'm like, I'm not taking it like as something super big or whatever. I'm just like, okay, whatever. But yeah, like there are days where, you know, you might do good, and you might have a few days to rest and actually like, oh, life is actually somewhat easy to handle for a while. But at the same time, these guys are relentless. Like, they're just willing to hit you every single day as much as possible. And they will try to mess with you personally, but if you don't react the way they expect you or want you, they will target everyone around you, which means not just the people, but even like life or situations around you. So there's a whole lot to it, and it is definitely a thing. So like, it's okay to like, okay, you're triggered, and it's okay to express yourself, whether it is hate, anger, and just like whatever comes out, it is totally okay. No worries. And like, you know, like even like after you experience it all and sort of let it all out, it's like, okay, I actually was messed with, but like no worries. So like for me, Cosmos, like I'm trying to sort of pay attention. Like I know when these things happen. Sometimes like even I'm like, I get hit and I get emotional, sort of like aggravated, but I'm like, hey, a while passes, like not just right away, but I'm like, it's not me. It's like the whole thing was sort of set up, and like once I get conscious, like, oh, it's an attack. You know, then it sort of like becomes much more easier to handle and sort of like not get too aggravated or like really stirred up or anything. So that's sort of easier, but it's definitely a thing. We're getting hit a lot, especially like these days, tons. So yeah. By the way, people, I'm sort of I'm still feeling weird. Like I don't feel like I'm in my usual comfortable state. Yeah, I just sort of like, it's been a while since I was streaming, and I don't know, just have like weird feelings. So I'm sort of like dealing with I don't feel like I'm giving you quality content, or I just feel like weird. Hard to explain. But anyway, I was sort of wondering, as in changing up some of the things I do, and like some of you know, like I stopped like selling like some sessions, but like right now I was like looking at like what people are saying. Like for example, some people listen to the past sessions Rich and I did, like the dual sessions or like solo sessions and all this stuff, and by listening they can relate to what's being told, and they simply, by listening to the audio, they notice changes in their life, or simply they follow steps and clear out things themselves. So that thing being said, how to say it? I was wondering, like, you know, like when you listen to some stories, for example, stories about the astral projection, stories about out-of-body experience, stories about secret space program, my labs 20 and back, twin flames and all this stuff, you listen to different people sharing their stories, and somewhat of what is being said you hear, and you're like, damn, I haven't experienced it in my life yet, or maybe you did, but there's that part where you're like, it's totally a thing. And you know the truth deep inside. Like, you have this lie detector deep inside, and you can sort of like listen to people. And for example, I might say some stuff, and you're like, damn, this is the thing. Or I might say something else, and you're like, you're missing it, Akvile, come on. So like different reactions to what I'm saying or what other people are saying. But the thing is, because we have lived for so long, we have experienced a lot of things. So let's say if I do the session and I talk about some weird concepts, some people listen to it like this is like bullshit, but others are listening to it and they're like, damn, I feel like this is a thing in my life. And some people who can relate, they might have not experienced it or seen it themselves, but deep inside they know that this is true, that this is the thing, because of their ability to relate from what they have experienced in the past. Just listening to it alone will open up your awareness, and that can sort of release a lot of the pain or limitations and other things. So, that being said, I've thought about like maybe like doing scans and starting from the body. As in, let's say people have various aches or issues with the physical body. Some headaches, spine aches, shoulders, whatever. Some people have really hard time moving. Others are drained every single day. Others have myopia like me and all this stuff. So like there's a lot of things that can happen. And in the last session, Rich and I did live, we noticed that like people after watching this, they said like, damn, after listening to this whole thing, my headache has disappeared. And we had like 5-6 people saying the same thing. I'm like, whoa. So literally, one of the things we can address that a lot of people would have, specifically like let's say focusing just on the body itself, and some of the like people like might have like 5 people, 6 people might have issues with spine, and basically we would do the session on the body, and just like however long it takes until we find what's going on and getting more information, and then sort of removing some of the blockages, but work not on one person at a time, but like on the whole humanity universally, and maybe more. So with that, I want to check it out how that would work if we were to address, like for example, a few people share like, okay, we have headaches, and so I have a group of however many people having specific body ache and stuff, and we do the session specifically focused on one thing, and then we end up doing a session, uploading it online on YouTube. Everyone can listen, and they're like, damn, this is a thing I have experienced, and after listening it, some were like, okay, this is just a story or whatever, but others while listening it will be able to sort of relate to it, and maybe they can follow the process of removal, or simply hear about what we found and try to use their visuals or like thoughts to remove it in their like reality, and maybe that would actually be helping more people. So it's just like an idea, but start from the physical body, see how many people would actually get something from it, and then sort of spread into not just the physical body, but maybe relationships, financial stuff, like what's blocking people from like maybe making more money or getting out of body or getting like love and all this stuff. So like lots of variations, but first like I would like to test out if it's actually working for more people than I assume it would, and going from there. So this is just like a thought, but sort of like wondering, like I've seen people actually get wins from like, we work on one person, upload it publicly, but like more people can relate to it and feel changes. So like, I wonder how many would be affected. That being said, yeah, like I have Andromedan saying hello, Adara, hello, who else? I'm Yahweh, we got here, Johannes, Marcelo, Artis Corrales, hi buddy. Yeah, lots of you people, Anthony Jones, hello. Yeah, okay. Tristan is saying fish are cool. I had this idea about the fishes. I assume like getting this like aquarium and like decorating it like with all the stuff. Like Daido's like my buddy here. He had fishes and stuff like that. I'm not sure like Daido, do you still have fishes? Because I know you used to. But sort of like decorating and like getting the aquarium and then like just like launching like live stream like 24/7 and just fishes. Not necessarily on this channel, but like I thought like it would be interesting. Like I think like Japanese and other places they have these like stream channels where like it's the whole room full of cats or puppies and they literally have robot hands, so like people try that they can literally connect and control the robot hand to play with a cat or a dog, and this is kind of fun. So like it just like seems like something to do, but it's lots of possibilities. I'm Akviles asking, Akvile, can you get out of body and never come back? If so, what happens to the body? Or is there something that pulls us back into the physical body? Yeah, there's a lot to it. But I would start like, it is totally possible to get out of body and never come back. A lot of people have done it. Some people who get out of body and never come back, like the literally physical body just drops dead like on the spot. Like people are like, what the fuck? It's just like you were talking with a person and while talking, boom, you left and never come back. You literally go away, fly out or like teleport into the other planets and the realms and you're free. So like quite a few people have done it. There are like stories about what happens where people get out of body, never come back, and physical body is just gone. There are other scenarios of walk-in, so basically you leave and the physical body is there, and because it's sort of like an empty vessel, other beings can come in and get your body, and now they're gonna be you. And so like people that know you're like, oh damn, you know, like he changed and all this stuff. So like there's possibilities of that, but you can simply, I think, just sort of create a block and all this stuff. And if you don't want anyone else taking over your body, you can simply block it and the body will drop dead and you'll be free. So it's totally possible, it's doable. And there are also things that are pulling us back. Some of it is our beliefs. It's our beliefs that like, oh, like let's say silver cord, if you detach it, you're never gonna come back. Or silver cord, like if you have it, you're gonna be bound to your body. Like fuck that shit, you know. Like it's just some of those stories. Like you don't need that stuff. Like being close to Earth because of the magnetic field and everything else that might be pulling you closer to the body. So like literally, if you get out of body, teleport somewhere far away from the world, or like the 3D for dancing and all this stuff, and then you're free. So literally, you can leave and not come back. That would be my answer. Gabriel is asking, how can we learn to see the aura of people or even other entities? For me, everything would start from simply watching other people. For example, if you want to see the auras of people, first you sort of have to start seeing their energy, like build up. Like, you know, like you want to gain the muscle mass, but you know that you will have to work out for a while. You're gonna have to change your diet, you're gonna have to take care of yourself, you're gonna have to like be consistent and all this stuff. So like literally some people want to get out of body and they assume that they're like few tries and they're gonna be free, and like no, it's like growing muscle. So same with like actually seeing more than like normal vision, you know, can get, and everyone can do it. Everyone can see energies and auras and other things. It's more of a practice thing. So literally, like I mentioned before, like literally can have your hand right in front of you and keep the neutral state, because getting too positive, like yeah I'm seeing it and it's gonna disappear, or more like, you know, like you're bummed out, like yeah where's that stuff, and like you're just like not gonna get your energy. So like literally I think like because I was watching anime when I was a kid, and I still am. I sort of got the concept that like, you know, like literally you can flow the whole energy into some body parts and like use it specifically. So because like I got the concept when I was a kid, I was able to like, okay, so like my whole energy, I would visualize it like flowing into specific body parts, or like if I needed one of that, and so like I would flow my whole energy into my hand and just sort of like not blinking, neutral state, not thinking, looking at my hand, and I would start seeing energy. And from then on, like, okay, I'm gonna try to sort of like think about flowing more energy and see if that can expand. And from then on, like moving my hand and everything else. And the more I would sort of become aware, like, hey, I can see not just the physical, but the energies as well. And then I would sort of like start watching other people, and the energy around them would appear as well. From then on, like literally, it doesn't take long, but it just sort of takes practice of watching and seeing things. And the more you can stay in this neutral state to not get overly excited or like be like in a weird like emotional state, if you can sort of like stay there, then you definitely can sort of like, okay, you're seeing it and it's gonna sort of like start appearing. It's kind of like tuning in, you know, like you're tuning in frequencies or like radio channel, you're trying to catch the right wave. So it's like on a neutral you have more abilities to sort of like tune in to seeing not just the physical but like energies, entities and other things, and it sort of like starts popping up naturally. So literally you're looking at other people, and within seconds or minutes, it's not just the see-through energy, but it's also colors appearing. So then you can sort of like see the auras, you can actually see like little things floating, and that would be entities and all the stuff. So like lots of possibilities. For me, it just sort of like started from watching, like literally not blinking and looking at something, sort of like concentrating, but at the same time kind of like staying neutral. And from then on, like it just built up. So yeah. Cosmos United is saying, I wish people were more aware of me and what I feel, because it affects us all. It is. It's definitely a thing. It's like, most of the time, I guess, a lot of us would feel like we have all these feelings and we try to express what we think, what we feel, what we want and need and all this stuff. And it's like people, like, hear you, but they don't listen. Like, they don't really digest or understand what you're saying, and they're like, and keep talking. Like again, like one of the things like with people is like, when you're talking to someone, they're not listening to what you're saying, but like you say something and they start thinking about what to say about what you say. So like it's definitely like happening, and I don't know, like it is an issue. Like, I know, like, I can't talk to that many people like I want to, because, like, I want to say certain things, but I know that they would not get it yet, or it's still far from it. Like, and I try to bring it up sometimes if I find it appropriate, or, like, I know, like, it won't disturb them too much and all this stuff, and they're okay, but, I talk to a lot of people as well, and they feel the same way. They feel like, you know, they have so much life that they want to show and give and share, and literally, just no one's there. No one's aware of anything. It's just that they're so busy with their own reality that's like, damn, like it's kind of like trying to break through the wall to say like, hey, I love you, hey, you're awesome, and just not going through. So it's definitely there. I'm sort of like reading through the comments, and right now like reading what Cosmos Night is saying, like regarding her family and what she's been through. It's a lot. Like, how many of you right now, in your daily life feel like, I don't know, like you're being attacked, like through people around you, relatives, people you admire or love? How many of you like feel alone or feel crushed or feel like there's like the third part or someone else who are just like waiting to trigger you, and like might be people close to you, like maybe your parents, maybe your siblings, maybe someone else, and you know, words, actions, and other things, and how many of them actually trigger you and make you feel bad, wrong, guilty, and all this stuff. Because it's definitely a thing. Like, it hasn't been happening to me that much lately. I guess like in a few ways where people would call it Murphy's Law. Like, just you're driving or like you're doing your thing, and a lot of people will get triggered by smallest things. And for me, like, I learned how to stop reacting to these triggers. Like, you know, like in the past, I would try to like connect to my clients, and literally internet goes nuts, like stops working and all this stuff, where people like are trying to connect to me and other things are happening, and you know, like I would get triggered by that, like, or like pissed off and stuff, and I was just like, okay, it's not working, whatever. And sort of like, I don't know, like chill attitude about life is helping me, but to get to this state, it took me a while. And like right now, I think because I can handle certain situations and not get triggered by it, like, you know, people saying certain things or certain things happening that like used to trigger me, but I sort of like, I'm in control of how I react. And a lot of times, when people are not doing too good, they subconsciously end up targeting someone to get wanted response back. And a lot of times, like for example, one person might have been through life where people control him or her, and to the point where they suppress and insult and embarrass, and the person ends up being abandoned and targeted all the time. And after all that, the person comes to me with the ways they've been targeting him or her, and end up like saying things that would make me want to do exactly the same of what was done to them. And I'm like, hey, I know that the person is writing to me, and that might be a lot of nasty stuff, but I have to react with, I have to understand that they are in pain and they're here because they need help. No matter how bad, no matter how nasty it might sound, or if, even if the whole thing is directed at me, like, Akvile, you're this and that and that, it might be like, damn, ow. But at the same time, I have to sort of like become like a blank slate and be able to take it in, like, okay, I understand your problem, but people are sort of like unknowingly waiting for the same response they've been waiting like or getting their whole life, and to be in control and not give them that, and they're like, damn, I'm sorry, I don't know what was going on to me. So like, I've seen this time and time again where people have stuff happening to them, and when they come at me, they project everything that was going on onto them to me, and they want me to do the same that everyone else was doing. So like, I'm like, I know it might hurt for a few moments, but I'm like, stop, be attentive. It's not about me at all. It's about the person. How can I help you? And so for me, like, to be attentive and sort of like understand what's your problem, what are you going through and all this stuff, and then to do my best to help the person, I feel like catching these situations and dealing with it that way, for me, has sort of like become like, hey, it's easy. Like, I don't get targeted that much because like I'm aware of these attacks, and now it's like, yeah, whatever. So like, because of these things happening and me being in control, somewhat, or like to some extent, I have gotten to the place where I'm like really chill in life. I know like my cat loss was probably the biggest issue I've had in a while. It's probably because it's been a while since I've cried, it's been a while since I've been hurting and stuff, and that was sort of like, damn, like I literally had to experience a loss, which is why like listening to Gary Vaynerchuk, he literally gave me an example. Like I feel like, I don't know, like half a year ago, like on summer, I was like listening to him and stuff, and one of the things he mentioned was literally people worry or are anxious needlessly because like the way he is like he thinks, or like his mindset is that all those things that trigger you or like you're worrying about, like some like what other people are thinking and saying, is not needed. Because literally think about someone you love so much and think about their death and how crushed would you be if you lost them. And for me, because I have this thing, like I have like people I care about and I really like them being in my life, or like let's say my cat, I used to have him, because I sort of like started appreciating life, and I'm like, okay, like stuff might happen in my life, but how big is this related to this person or this being dying? And I'm like, not much. I literally would have to get in touch with what would it feel like if that person was dead. And I'm like, damn, that would hurt. And so like same with the perspective of appreciating everything and like how all these things that would try to trigger me is actually not a thing anymore. I'm like chill about life. So for me that became like much easier to handle things, and no matter what would come at me, I'm like, yeah, but it's not as bad as that would be. So like for me it was helping. And then like when I lost my cat, and I'm like, yep, I completely understand what Gary is saying, because everything else that was happening, like for example, the day my cat died, I had like 4 or 5 people writing to me, expecting sessions and everything else. And I'm like, I know part of me should feel like I need to get back to them, but I was like, not there. I was just my cat. I woke up and I was thinking about him until morning, until like I was like from the moment I woke up until the moment I went to bed. This was just my cat, no one else. And all the things that were happening in life, like I didn't give a fuck at all. So for me, that was actually like, oh, I know my priorities. Why worry about the smallest stuff when I am so focused on this thing I actually truly love? That's important. So like, I might get bitched out, I might get told other things, or people like, hey, sorry, I need a refund. I'm like, okay, bye. You know, like sort of like, no hard feelings or anything. It's more like just like accepting and all this stuff. So like for me, like it became easier to handle certain situations and deal with things. So yeah, I think like that's sort of like different mindset. This is really helping me to sort of handle things. But it's easy for me to talk. Like I know like some people like right here, they have no one. They're completely alone, and no matter how hard, like you might be in love with someone, but you're not getting it back, and that's crushing. And you're like, without the person, you feel like there's no one there, and even then you don't have it there. So like I'm lucky because I have someone. I'm lucky because I know like there's someone I actually really care for and about, and they're there for me and all this stuff. But like not everyone's that lucky, so I can understand people going through it. So yeah, so there's this. Cosmos also asking like, when am I doing Cyberpunk again? Yeah, with Cyberpunk, I think maybe in the next week. I know like on weekends I do like streaming and just answering questions because there's more people like open and available. But on the work days, I think like when more people are busy, I would probably feel more comfortable. But we'll see. Like I'm actually surprised that someone would be interested in it. Anyway, how are y'all doing? Like, I feel like in the stream, like I'm still having this weird feeling, you know, like, I don't know, like, if I'm actually giving something valuable or anything, but, like, I'm glad, like, few people are here and watching and, like, engaging in what I'm doing, which is cool. Also, like, Cosmos is saying, maybe we can do Revocation for being messed up and deviated from your path through people you know, having relationship disorders. Yes. This is still a thing, yeah. I just like, I know this, like, I know I want to do this, but I should sort of like be more initiative and maybe ask more people like to send me emails with their stuff. Like for example, like 1 week we focus on this subject, next week we focus on that subject, and at the end of the week, like I might do live stream and work with everyone. We're just simply focusing on one thing, but like doing like completely like guided soul guided revocation or some other things where I guide you through it, but at the same time a lot of you can tune in and do it on your end and see what I can find, or also calling one of you live and you can like be anonymous, just like your voice and stuff, but like we could chit chat, you could be with video on me or not, like whichever way you prefer, and at the same time I would question you and talk to you, and then we would do the session together and I would do my best to help you out. So like lots of variations, but yeah, we'll see. And yeah, like Cosmos is saying, like tiny things they say, fears of what they would say, how they would react. If the man I love loves me back, if he hates me, definitely they hit exactly where you're hurting. Yeah, this is exactly the thing. Okay, so like, I'm seeing like people interested in this. I definitely need to take more initiation because like I have like lots of great ideas, or at least I assume that they're great. But then I'm like busy or engaged with other projects that I sort of like, okay, this is a good thing we might do in the future, but I don't end up like doing it actually. So like, we should definitely set it up. People, those that would be interested in either doing, I don't know, like soul contract revocation together on certain items, or simply tuning in live with me to address certain things, please write me an email, akvilesava@yahoo.com, and basically in the description below. So just like look at the description, you should see everything. And over there, I don't know, write me some of the issues you have, what would you like to address and work on, because we can definitely like do the stream and dedicate it on completely just like helping people to get rid of their contracts and other things, and you know, see if that helps. But I've seen some of the methods really change my life completely upside down, from like going nuts into like, damn, life is good. And I've seen it work on me, and I know like if it's done right and if it's done like, I would say consistently, but it's not necessarily consistently, it's just like enough. If it's done enough, you can definitely feel massive changes. So like I would like to give it to others if possible. Oh, that is saying something interesting. So that is saying, I created the world with my imagination with a shield that no one can pass it. Then I told the entities that they may, or that may or are messing with me, that they can go live there without their masters hurting them. And from then on, I am feeling more free, less thoughts or negative things. Damn, Dido, this is good. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is gold. This is pure gold. Dido, thank you for sharing this, because like, I like it so much. I like it so much because I've seen other people get better. Like literally you have because they're messing with you, but even those that are messing with you or messing with people to trigger you, they have their higher ups and they're the ones hurting, and it's kind of like they're the slaves made to attack you. But if you remove someone above them, or if you give them the freedom, like, you know, like some of you have watched Harry Potter. And I feel like in the second movie, Harry Potter gives this home elf Dobby a sock, and a sock meant freedom. So literally, Harry Potter was able to free this little being from their masters that were really abusive. And you can do the same thing by simply daydreaming, imagining, or like imagining, creating, thinking of a world that would be safe and no one can pass it. And you simply create rules, but literally you can make the home world for entities where they can go there and they're gonna be safe. And while they're there, they will gain knowledge, information, and will be able to sort of turn back from entities to the consciousness and simply sort of regain their original state. So I'm glad there are some people who are trying it out and actually seeing changes. That just like, it's awesome. I'm looking like at people like asking for sessions and stuff, or like being live with me on the stream for the whole like soul contract removal, and I'm looking at dates. I would like to get ready, so not tomorrow, 26th or 27th. 26th, like a lot of people might still be doing Christmas stuff, so 27th. But like, how many people, like how many of you would be willing to watch it on 26th, 27th? That would be like next Saturday, next Sunday. I might definitely do this. So like, if some of you are available, or I don't know, like even after the New Year's, whichever way, but still doable. Alice Corrales is saying, hi, do you know a guy who came from 2060s to 2019 and left many predictions which came true? Is he from our universe, or can you explain this, please? No, I have not heard of the guy, but I totally believe it. Like, time travel is totally possible, lots of people do it, and the whole thing about, like, is he from our universe or not? Like, he can be. The thing about, like, timelines now, you can switch it at any time. Like, it's literally one little action, one little thought, and you go different places. So it's not just like going past, present, future, but literally can even go to different timeline where kind of like same world but different things happening. So like there's a lot of these, and yeah, he can definitely be from the future. Like who's the guy? Who's the person? Like I would definitely like to look into that. Sounds like really good. Rich and I, we started like recently watching this TV show called Dark. It's a German TV show. You can find it on Netflix and like other places, I think. It's pretty good. It's about like time traveling as well, and time, like different timelines, different people, like how like kind of butterfly effect, how like one little thing can affect it all, and more than that, like even like a bit about human trafficking and all the other stuff. I might make a video about it in the future, but like some of you, if you want to check it out, it's called Dark. Look it up. Gabriel is saying, I have a pain in my left shoulder that suddenly appeared in one morning and I haven't been able to get rid of it for 3 weeks. It's a thing. I know what you mean. I'm like wondering like what could be done about it, because like for me, like energy removal, looking at the past lives, or like simply the morning when it started, like your left shoulder, do you feel like it's more of a weight on your left shoulder and it's sort of like harder to move and you're more stiff? Or is it kind of like within, kind of like the muscle, or it's like something within your body or something less the other body? Like where do you feel it? How big is it? Like from little bubble to more of an expansion, all the stuff. How, what's the word? Tense? No, not tense. Dense, yeah, density. Okay, the density of the doll and all the stuff. Like, because like when it comes to some of the pains, you literally, each and every one of you have this inner lie detector within. So when you ask yourself a question, the first answer you get is the right one. But then you're trying to be logical. You're trying to think of something like, nah, that can't be true, and you're trying to like choose a better one. But then like, oh damn, I was right on the first time, but you like fucked up already. So it would be good to notice what is like what is the first answer and be aware of it. But at the same time, ask yourself, like, is this entities, like one entity, a cluster? Is it big, or is it small, or is it someone else? Is it actually an astral implant? Is maybe my clone body being messed with and all this stuff? So like you ask yourself questions, and sort of like where you get more reads for yourself, you literally can find about what's going on to you. So each and every one of you can do it. It's totally possible. If you have a problem, ask yourself what is going on, and ask yourself many questions to sort of like find the answer within, because all the questions arise from within, and all the questions are like all the answers are within as well, so you have it all. And then you simply like, your imagination is literally enough to deal with it. Your thoughts is enough. Like if you can't visualize it, it's okay. Your thoughts are alone are powerful. So, you know, just sort of like, okay, there's this thing inside, and you can literally imagine it shrinking to this kind of like little dust, pulling it out of yourself and destroying it, or using the vacuum cleaner. And then as you clear out the whole thing on your shoulder, you literally would basically like, okay, and now all this good healing energy would fill me up, and you can like literally fill up your whole body, and you might like literally like within seconds feel like the pain is gone. So like a lot of variations of how this can be done, but it's sort of like one of the first things that pops to my head, it like could be done right now. Anthony is saying, I feel I wanted to say that there are millions uniting right now in the world against the vaccination issue, and I do believe if we all say no, nothing can be done. I don't want it either, even if it's mandate. Yeah, it's totally possible. Like, if people unite together, like, we're saying no, it's like literally the same thing. Like, everyone's like, fuck it, we're not gonna pay taxes anymore. And the government's like, we're gonna beat you up, motherfuckers. And, like, no one's like, come at us, bro, you know? And, like, eventually, like, you just, like, can't arrest, like, 100 million people. Like, you know, it's just, like, it's not gonna work and stuff. So, I feel like if like, literally everyone decides to, like, nope, not gonna vaccinate, nope, not gonna pay, like, taxes because taxation is theft and all this stuff. Like, they can't do stuff. Like I think, like, in Croatia, there was one guy who was, watching David Icke and wanted to be the next David Icke, but understood, like, he can't. So at least he was, like, he went into politics and he was able to take off, like, stop, like, taxation or, like, some of it in Croatia, because people came together, they had enough evidence and everything else, and it stopped. So, again, like, year many, day few, right? Do I think Biden cheated in votes? 100%. 100%. It's, I made, like, a little video about it, but, like, there's tons of people coming out saying, like, even those that, like, are working in the office and everything else are saying, like, we were kicked out or, like, we were fired because we said, like, hey, it's stop, like, taking out for Trump votes and all this stuff. So, like, there's a lot of crap going on. I still, like, from time to time I look up into, like, the whole, I don't know, political stuff in America, like, a little bit, and people are, like, still pushing, like, Trump's gonna win and all this stuff, so, like, go, dude, whatever. Tristan is asking, like, how do we know we're on the right timeline? Well, the thing is, like, we are never in the right timeline. Let's say that, like, or there is no one specific best timeline, because let's say right here on Earth, how good or right is it for you? You're like, look around, you're like, well, the world is fucked. People are not believing stuff. Nope, I don't think it's a good one. And so, like, is it right? Not really. So, like, I feel like the right timeline is the one where you're doing the best, where you're sort of, like, feeling confident about yourself, where you can, like, say, hey, I'm powerful, I can do stuff, and that's the right place. So, like, regarding which one is the best, or is there, like, a right one, it's about your own self state, like, how are you feeling about things, your own belief systems and all this stuff, and you can make everything right depending on how you feel about things. So it's more of a perception, it's more of a feeling state rather than timeline being there for you. Cosmos Knight is saying, can you revoke taking the vaccine? I got in the astral by force, like, I got it in the astral by force, I cried so much in my dream. Yeah. Here's the thing, if any of you have dreams that are somewhat hurtful, like whether in the dream you got vaccinated, or you got killed, or you lost someone you love, or maybe you had a situation that stirred you up, and you wake up and you're like, also like damn it, like, this was such a bad dream, I hate it and stuff. It's okay. You experience all that, but, like, literally, like, remember what happened in the dream, what was triggering, and what you do is, like, just daydream, just imagine, just create, but literally go back to your dream. You don't necessarily have to fall asleep and be there, but simply think, okay, the dream, where the shit started going sideways, and you think, like, okay, this is the time where they had me there and they vaccinated me. What you do is, like, okay, this is the time where I'm on my chair, and instead of the vaccine, they bring you a hot cup of cocoa and your favorite chocolate, and they're like, here's the guy that, like, you're in love with, have a nice date. And so literally, many of you can have these crazy ass dreams, but if it stirs you up, here's a few things you can do. Literally think about the dream and where stuff started going sideways, and literally just by your thoughts, your visuals, recreate everything the way you would like it to be, because whatever happens there, eventually you are the god-like being. You can create and change absolutely everything. And where those dreams are implanted and forced to mess with you, and you're like, okay, that was used against me, I myself would not create that sort of stuff because I don't like it, I don't want it. So, because I have the powers, you and every one of you can do this. You have this dream, it stirred you up, you think like, okay, this is the moment where stuff started going sideways, and literally you can imagine things going differently. Instead of vaccines, they bring you a hot cup of cocoa or a teddy bear, and instead of like, you know, you losing your girlfriend, she actually comes with you and like hey, let's have a nice date and stuff, or like literally imagine the best case scenario. All the crap, it stirred you up, but it does not have to be true. It happened, you saw it, fuck it, because you are the godlike being. You are freaking powerful. Whatever you imagine, whatever you create, it's there. You can manifest it all. If there's negative outcome that you don't like, you can change it at any point in time. It's possible. You can do it. So if it stirs you up, you're like, no, I don't agree with this. I don't like it. I don't want to create it. And then you literally create the scenario you would like. And if it hurt you, you create the wanted experience from the beginning until the end, until you're like, that feels better. And literally, if it stirred you up, if it made you cry, if it pissed you off, you recreate everything the way you want it to be, and that's it. Wrap. And now you literally change everything. And what you imagined, you create. And in that reality, whatever happened, you changed everything. It's kind of like going back in time and manifesting what you want. And that's it. So with that being done, I also do this one little thing, like let's say if I have this nasty dream or experience throughout the night, when I wake up, I go to the sink in the morning and I take the water and I'm like sort of like doing my spiritual or ritual, whatever. And like as I have the water in my hands or like in my, like hands just holding it, I'm like, okay, like whatever I have experienced there, it is no longer true and like it's just gonna like disappear, like this water flows from my face. And sort of like just like I wash my face, but as the water drips down and sort of like runs to my face, boom, it's all gone and it's no longer real because I did my own little ritual that helps me. So you do what works for you. It's like what I do is like, okay, I tried it and it's kind of like fun and it seems like I'm feeling better and that empowers me. There are billions of ways of how these things can be done and literally it's all about your creativity. You literally can like, it's the worst example, I don't know what popped in you, but like literally when you go to pee or poop, you literally, okay, now I'm gonna do this process and with this I clean all my body and then these and all the bad experiences and like boom, you know, like you're done with that. Like this is the worst thing I could come up with. But yeah, so there, like there's no limits to how creative you can be. It can be fun, it can be weird, and whatever comes up, you are the godlike being. You can do absolutely everything, so it's your choice of what you want to create, how you want to do it. So even though these dreams or like experiences out there might not be pleasant, you can do it all to change it. So there's that. I feel weird saying that stuff. That was bad. Gabriel, thank you for this massive donation. I appreciate it. Dido Shepherd is asking, do you meet other people aspects? Do they ask for help or anything? Sometimes. I know, like, let's say some of my classmates or people I have met here on Earth, when I am in the astral, or like, let's say when I get out of body, and if I meet aspects of them, some of them, like, sometimes, like, are asking for help, and eventually, because it is another aspect, it's not usually connected to the Earth, unless there might be some clones and other things connected, and then you literally, like, okay, like, you end up going on missions or doing whatever, and you help them clear things out on their space, but basically, because our physical body and the astral bodies and, like, every single other experience, we're connected, whatever happens to other beings, literally, you can fix things there, and will be fixed here. But here's another thing, like, I really like the moments where I believe something for a long time, and then I realize, like, oh, that was bullshit. And, like, I really like when everything sort of switches and I get a better, clearer understanding. And one of them is basically past lives, or let's say stuff that happens in past lives. And what I'm talking about is, like, I might have mentioned it in other videos, but basically, Rich and I, we were doing the session recently on stuff that's sort of like holding me back, and we fixed a lot of things. Like, yeah, just like the change was so amazing because it was so instantaneous and kind of like permanent. And from that, like, literally, I used to go like, okay, stuff happened in my past, I need to go to my past, I have to fix it to help myself here. But that's bullshit. Like, if I look at my other like parts in the multiverse, if you are out there and let's say you have an issue within, you might not be doing too good, or like you might have like, let's say, myopia, or like you might be triggered by stuff. You don't go to the past to fix it. You literally, right here, right now, you're like, oh, I'm not feeling confident. I'm gonna be confident right now. And you start acting it. And the whole thing of, let's say, law of attraction, or living it, the way I would explain it is to act it out. And you don't have to fix things to change everything completely. But let's say you look at the parts that you would like to have. Maybe a part that would be better at communicating, maybe a part that would be actually talking clearer, slower, or some other parts that, like, maybe you have social anxiety and you actually want to feel comfortable around people. So there's like a lot of these aspects. And instead of like, oh, in past I was embarrassed in front of tons of people, in past this happened and I need to go back to fix it, that's crap. It's just an experience. What you do is like, okay, in past shit happened, I don't give a fuck. Right now, I don't have this thing, but from this moment on, I'm gonna start living this. I'm gonna start living as my new self. And you literally start acting and living as if you have this new personality of speaking slower, clearer, being more confident, and the whole being just changes right away. And all of a sudden, you start like living from the new perspective, from the new point of view, and all those things that were getting in the way, you don't have to fix anything. You literally, like the actor or actress chooses a role for a movie or TV show, and they have to be something for a while, you can do the same thing. You don't have to change anything or fix all the stuff. Fuck that. Literally right here, right now, you choose what would you like to be, if it was possible. And you choose this aspect, and you start acting it out. And you start acting like, what if? What if I was braver? What if I had more knowledge? What if I was better at speaking and presenting? And all of a sudden, you act as if, and it's there, and it's different, and you're like, damn, did it really happen? And you literally manifest everything right here. And for me, like, it's funny because I made it happen quite a few times. And it's amazing. It's amazing when I'm just acting it out, having fun with it, and I notice changes within minutes, seconds, or days, but I'm like, damn, this happened, like, what the hell? And the thing I was playing becomes real. It becomes part of myself. So it's no longer a belief for me that if I have an issue here, right now, I no longer have to go in past and fix it. That's crap. I'm glad I stopped believing that stuff. You don't need to fix anything, because you can change right here, right now. Whatever happened in the past is no longer the present experience. It happened. You experienced that stuff. But you don't have to agree to it. You don't have to make it like, okay, it's a bleacher effect and it can affect me. But I no longer agree to it. And from now on, I'm gonna be like this. And you literally start kind of like fake it until you make it. Acting it out. Just trying to do it. But as you are acting it out, as you're trying to act it, what if, like, what would it be like? What would you feel like? How would you talk like if you were confident? If you were more humorous? If you were having higher self-esteem? If you were in love with yourself and other things? And all this like stuff, you sort of like, okay, that would be the feeling state. How would I breathe? Oh, my breathing would be different. And you start sort of like slowly working on yourself. You don't have to do it for days. Do it for a few seconds, for a few minutes. See how that feels. See how you change your feeling state right away, and everything that happened in the past is no longer here. And all of a sudden, you're free. And for me, like, it's amazing. So, while fixing our past, you know, like, yeah, you can do some changes and see some awesome effects. But that's not the must be. Like, there are workarounds, which is right now in the present. So, that'd be my take on it. But yeah. So, Meredith, thank you for the donation. Appreciate it. And I'm scrolling up to the questions that I've missed, and I'm gonna answer some more. Eddie's saying, I was told that in this lifetime I'm supposed to meet my divine partner. Well, there you go. Yeah, like, a lot of these feelings, like this purpose, like you have to do something here, you're something important has to happen, or meeting specific people. A lot of these things are also like implants, and it doesn't necessarily mean that everything is false, but a lot of times, like, you feel like an alien here. Like, you feel like you completely don't belong here. You can't connect to anyone. You feel like, hey, I don't like this world. I feel so very different. I can't relate to anyone. And hey, come on, you're not from here anyway. Like, you don't have to like it here. You don't have to adjust and be like everyone else. So, it's really a thing. Like, you don't have to, like, let's say whatever you might have decided before coming here, or whatever your other aspects have told you like that would be good for you, you can always change your mind at any point in time. And whatever has happened, like maybe you decide like, oh, when I come here on Earth I'm gonna do this, and you come here and you see like, well, things are a bit different. You don't have to agree to what you decided to do before coming here. You're like, oh, okay, I changed my mind, no longer. And that's powerful. Being able to change your mind and sort of like, oh, I don't like it, I don't want to do it anymore. That's powerful. So all of you can, like, let's say if you feel like there's this grand purpose or like whatever's going on, you just have to do it, but you really feel like you don't want to do it, or like it's not your thing, but you're just kind of like feeling forced and all this stuff. So yeah, like, just change your decision. Like, you no longer have to agree to it and all this stuff. Me is saying, in my dreams I feel like I'm in control, but I can tell that the entities are just messing with me. It happens a lot as well. Like, in your dreams you might experience a lot and you feel like you're like, hey, I'm the main hero here, there's a lot happening, and you sort of like have the whole directive. But even then, a lot of it can actually be projection, and they make you feel like you're like, hey, you're in control, everything's fine, but you experience some nasty stuff or some weird stuff and you're like, what's the point of this? What the fuck? Or it might trigger you. So like, a lot of these experiences are actually, not all of it, but some of these experiences are definitely sort of like implants or like projections, holograms, and they like sort of change how we see things, how we feel about things, and it's just only a thing. I'm sort of like scrolling down, like I'm kind of like at the top and I'm scrolling down, and I'm at a part where back in the video somewhere I have asked how many of you are being attacked by entities. So, like, I'm just like reading a lot of answers on how many people like are sharing their stories and are going through it. Zach, hi. I'm not sure if you're still watching, but I just sort of like, just now I saw your comment saying the book is Akvile, so good to see you, everybody. Damn, I'm reading like Gabriel is saying, I've definitely been under attack lately. My daughter was hospitalized and my wife broke her ligament in her leg when they returned from the hospital. Ow. And it's not uncommon. That's the worst part. It's not uncommon. Like, I have talked to a lot of people, like who are clients, and just simply sharing their stories, and literally seems like smallest stuff, but at the same time they get hit like really hard, like breaking their arms or legs, or like, oops, got in the car accident, like fucked up my car, and tons of other things. Like a person I was sort of like working with literally had a robber come into her house and steal her laptop and money and other things, and it just like comes in like a nice young fella, kind of like in his 18-year-old, kind of like a bit homeless, like asking for help, and just like, hey, could I just eat something or drink something? And while the lady makes tea or just like tries to care for the person, gets like taking everything away. It's horrible. And it doesn't help me saying like, hey, it's not uncommon, like it happens to everyone, like it's bad. It's really bad. Eddie is saying, anyone told you to look like actress Gemma Whalen? If I'm saying her name right, I have to look her up. Who is she? No, like I haven't heard such a comment. Oh, like Game of Thrones is where I probably saw her. I'm checking out like where she has shown up. I'm pretty sure like plenty of places, but yeah. No, this is the first time I'm hearing it. I guess that's good. Alfredo is asking, how can you face bad entities when in out-of-body experience? And I guess I would sort of like answer, let's say you're in out-of-body, and how do you find these entities that are messing with you or other people? And I would sort of like assume that your out-of-body experience, you can do absolutely everything there. And you literally can, let's say, manifest a screen right in front of you, kind of like a holographic screen, like a tablet, but kind of like just like light as a feather, see-through and everything else, and it just literally appears right in front of you, and you're touching like a screen and stuff like that. But literally, if that's better for you to think, you can sort of like, okay, look up, sort of like filter out, and you're gonna specifically focus on entities and other beings that are there to mess with humanity, maybe trigger certain feeling states, maybe scare people, maybe get them more in this anxious, stressful place, maybe people who are more targeted in relationships and all this stuff. You're like, you go specific with what you want to find and see, But then you literally can sort of like start seeing tons of clusters, and you can sort of like, okay, color red, make it like very bright and clear, where are they? And you sort of like literally, it starts appearing, and like you can literally have a map, or you can see it right there, or like all around you, and you look at those clusters and you either like wipe them out if you want, or you sort of like transmute them and have like help them to sort of transform in something better, or other things, like give them new home where they can grow and learn all the stuff. Your options of what to do. But literally, once you're out of the body, you simply give yourself a goal of what to look for, what to do, and if you want to get rid of entities, simply focus on what specific issues, what is it, like, like, bad entities is very general. It is very general. So you have to go with what specifically, what is bad, and how bad, and what do they do, the feeling states, the thoughts, emotions, actions, and everything else. So you sort of like go specific, and then you can find it all. So there's that. Tristan is saying, like, I'm still waiting for my session, but I could totally be your guinea pig. There we go. Kelly is asking, do you think a lot of us have hit a reset with karma? I feel like we're going into something new. My answer would be no, because I personally don't really believe in karma. I believe in cause and effect, but that would be more of our decisions and people reacting to what we do. And the whole karma thing, it's not like there's a law and a rule that will make something happen. It's more like you agreeing that there has to be consequences for what you do or what some other people do. For example, in your life, you might be the ruler of the realm, and you're like, damn, I'm gonna enjoy myself and I'm gonna have this harem and just enjoy every single person there and like having sex and all the fun. Yay, done with that. After a while, you're like, damn, I feel bad. I feel like a lot of them just wanted to have someone else and not me. Well, in next life, I'll make sure that I have only one person. You make a decision in the past life, and today you end up living it. But it's not because it's karma, it's because you decided it. And at any point in time, you can change your decision. You're like, oh, in the past I've decided that it would be better for me to suffer because I've actually controlled someone else, I've actually affected someone else. And right here, right now, you're like, oh, well, I no longer agree to it. Boom. And you change your life like that, and you change everything. So I myself don't really buy into the karma, because everything we like every life and everything we experience, again, like it's just an experience. It's just part of like, okay, I understand what it's like to live this, I'm done. And then you choose to do something else. You don't have to, like, because you killed, because you've had sex, because you've always living as a guy, as a good guy, or like whatever. You have to have like you have to face consequences. So like if you do tons of good things throughout the multiverse, you still can get attacked. If you do tons of bad things and you're like, nah, no consequence, I don't agree to it, there is no karma. Which is why it's a thing that literally a lot of people here, especially those, let's say, pedophiles, killers, murderers, and all this stuff, those who seem to be like psychopaths, like relentless, not give a damn about anyone, they go psycho and whatever. And they will not face the consequences if they don't agree about it. Like, hey, I don't buy into the karma, I've experienced, I've had fun, bye now, I'm going. And they will not face the devil, they will not face a life that is worse, because they experienced what they wanted to experience and they're done. Simply, you are the actor. You are the person who chooses to act out a role for a movie. The movie here is this life. We had other movies we were playing out in other lives. We played out a role, we're like, okay, I understand what this experience is like. This is the character I have played and had fun with, or not really, but I'm done with this experience. Bye now, moving on. And just because you acted a role somewhere else does not mean that you have to face consequences right here. So you're free. You don't have to face anything because it's up to you. If you haven't messed up other beings, if you haven't pissed anyone else that much, they're not gonna fuck with you. They're like, okay, just not being there, doing their own thing. But literally there are beings who, like, let's say, we can go and be like, okay, I want to see what it's like playing, I don't know, like some shooter, and you want to shoot up some entities, like, haha, I'm having fun killing reptilians. Well, you're gonna piss off reptilians because now in their eyes you're the bad guy. You're killing everyone off. You end up with that life, you move on, but the reptilians, they're like, that person, that fucker pissed us off. He killed our family and all this stuff. I don't like him. Let's go mess with him. And next life you're like, oh, they're messing with me. Fuck them. I hate reptilians. Like, shut the fuck up. It's your own doing, you know. So, again, it's your choice. It's your agreement. And at any point in time, you can start agreeing to it. Karma, in my reality, is not a thing, and you're more in control. Which is why, like, you know, whatever you do, you agree to what's gonna happen next. So people who do bad things will not necessarily face consequences because they don't believe in it. And people who do good things does not mean that everything else will be fine for them because they might get messed with. So, like, there's a lot of things that can happen, and some more like of belief system territory, whatever you believe it will happen. So there's that. Eddie is asking, have you played God of War, Akvile? I played a recent one. I played a recent one that was on PS4. Other ones, not really. But it's a fun game. I am Yahweh is asking, Akvile, do Satanists and the elites serve beings like Satan and Marduk as slaves due to contracts made in past lives, or on their own free will? Really depends. Different people, different causes for it. Like, I think like a lot of them are just sort of like looking for a better like way like of how they can live their life, how they can benefit most, and some of them might be like more of a psychopath, so like really they don't give a damn about others, it's more all about them, and they can literally do it on their own free will, like, oh, like, yeah, I was promised I'm gonna get this stuff, and they go all in and they see what they get. So like some of them, I wouldn't say like necessarily because of the contracts, but because like they have been messed in the past lives. Like a lot of us, what happens in the past, our decisions and whatever else, it leaves somewhat of an impact here. And people might know, like, this guy, we've been connected, so in this life we're just gonna do it again. And you're like, okay. And you just sort of come in and you just feel like it's a thing to do. So it's more of a free will thing. Unless they hold a gun to your head and you're like, get the fuck out. So, like, you know, they can be forced as well. Okay, so I'm sort of scrolling down, and I come to the part where at some point in stream I was like asking regarding Doing a soul convocation live on stream and actually having one of you on video with me so that I would do the whole guided process and we would go through this whole thing. So Cosmos United is the one that really wants to be live with me on a video and go through this whole process. Cosmos, please write me an email, or I don't know, like on Facebook. We'll need to go like through it back and forth, chat it up about like what we're gonna address, and on video next Sunday I'll pick the time. I guess like 7-8 p.m. Lithuania time, which should be 9-10 a.m. California if it's easier for some to get a handle at. We'll see on time, but like on the 27th would be Sunday, and like a lot of people seem to be free on that day, so we can definitely do a session if you would like that, and if you're willing, and some people would like to watch, we can definitely address some other things. Yeah, there we go. One person's happy here, at least. Awesome. Great. Good. So yeah, people, 27th we're gonna do the Sunday video chat, and we're gonna have like live soul conscious revocation. We're gonna choose like Cosmos Night will be there. We're gonna address some of her problems. We're gonna choose one item. We're gonna choose one item to start with and go through the whole process and see what happens, and we're gonna go from there. Anyway, we're gonna continue. I'm gonna take a minute or two break. I'm gonna go pee and get something to drink and all this stuff, and I'll be back. So I'm gonna leave you with music and this nice background view, and I'll be here and we're gonna continue Q&A, so stay with me here. Okay, and I'm back. I got myself a nice cup of grape juice and a pair of warm socks. I've been barefooted and I really like warm socks. So, give me a minute. Oh, they're warm and stuff. How many of you like warm socks? Am I getting them for Christmas? Okay, alrighty, let's go. Ascension Mystery is saying, according to Roswell, alien interview, and Gnosticism, this is an evil universe that we're in. What are your opinion about on that? There's like quite a few takes on it, but I would say like it's not the universe that's evil. It's more the beings that in it that try to dominate and control others. They're more evil. It's kind of like the planet Earth is evil. How is a planet bad? It's just there. Nature is there. Is a tree bad? Is the water bad? Not really. So it's more like, you know, like people here, or even ETs and all the stuff that are killing, dominating, suppressing and all this stuff, they're the ones that are evil. So we have a lot of evil beings here and there, and they're definitely doing a lot of like bad things. So that would be the answer like that I would just share a little bit. Don Red is saying, 3 days ago, my cat and I were attacked by invisible entity. Woke up, saw something pulling on my cat's tail, freaked my cat out, while I had a massive headache and told it to leave and never come back. Headache instantly left me, never came back, and cat stopped being messed with. Wow. I'm glad, like, I'm glad, like, when things like that happen, if you literally can connect to, like, hey, I'm sovereign being, and I'm the one dictating rules here. So, like, if you do what Tawny did, like, just sort of like getting rid of these entities and sort of being in control, they will listen. Like, they know that eventually you're the being who can create absolutely everything and destroy absolutely everything. Others don't really have that kind of imagination or creativity, which is why they see you as, like, a being, like, who they respect. And they might try to mess with you to scare you off or to make you feel bad about yourself, but eventually you're the one who can do it all. So kind of like deal with the fear if it's there, but remember, like, you have all the powers. Regeneration 2026 Evolution is asking, is humanity doomed with the incoming forced vaccination? I would say no, because I believe a lot of people are resisting and will not take it, and like if everyone sort of unites and sort of like, nope, not gonna do it, they can't do anything, they can't really force you. And, you know, you're many, they're few, so like, I don't see humanity losing. No. Andromeda is saying, hi Akvile, sometimes when I'm in out-of-body experience, I don't see my body. Is it possible to inhabit people's mind? So here's the thing, it's okay to not see your body when you're out of body, because you're simply consciousness, which is simply point of view. So that's the natural state. When you die, you don't necessarily need to have the body. You're just sort of like point of view. And if you again like think about like your parents' house, maybe your school, maybe the sand beach that you were in like a while ago, a library or so, or some place that actually has left this impact, like damn, I really like this place. If you think about it, literally for a few seconds, you can see it perfectly. The looks, like the place, how it looks like, even the smell, the warmth and everything else, like it can come to you. And because of that, literally everyone can shift their consciousness in that specific place. And that's simple. Your body doesn't have to be there. We're just like, it's good to not see your body because there's no limits. Is it possible to inhabit like people's mind? Yes, if entities can affect us, you can affect others too, so it's a thing. But be careful, don't mess with other people too much, because they will consider you being an entity or someone bad and they will try to get rid of you, so you piss off too many and they will attack you. I'm sort of scrolling up and, or like scrolling down actually, like reading comments and questions now. I'm looking like at Cosmos and I, like her previous messages, and when we were talking about the toilet meditation and everything else, she mentioned like, I noticed I am attacked when on the toilet, and it seems like it's an open spot for them to enter and all this stuff. So while for some it might seem like strange, weird, funny and all this stuff, it's normal. And again, like while I am talking about like how the past can be like, let go of the past, you don't have to fix everything, but literally you can start living from the present moment and manifest everything you want. This does make me think about like there are times in our life when things happen and let's say we get unconscious or we get knocked out or we're in pain. And while we are unconscious or in pain, anything that happens in the background, and specifically things that are said, becomes like a hypnotic command. And so it might happen in the past life, or it might have happened in this life from like the birth until the present moment. But there are times where you might just step on a Lego and like, ow, it hurt, and like other things can happen. But a lot of things that are going on in the background can happen to be a hypnotic command. And I'm just sort of like trying to think of possible phrases that could be affecting, like, every time I open it, it hurts. Or like, just different variations, or like it's very intense when it opens up. And so like, some people are just like talking about like opening the door and it's really intense. But for someone it becomes a hypnotic command and it works in weird ways where it's affecting your physical body, how you feel, how you react and other things. So yeah, triggers from the past life, but like literally, while you're just doing like simple things, even here, literally, you step on a Lego and for a moment you're like, ow, it hurts. And on the radio, there's a song playing, but there's gonna be a phrase that sticks and becomes a hypnotic command, and all of a sudden, your life has a little bit of a switch, and all of a sudden you have weird pains, or you start to act differently, you might feel like, oh, like weird and all this stuff. So that would be like the area I would explore. I would explore like, how do you feel when that happens? Is it a pain? Is it a tension? How long does it last and all this stuff? And I would sort of like probably start looking for those specific phrases that might be like a hypnotic command that is completely different, like maybe even in the whole mechanics and all this stuff. But from that time, you literally can find like, hey, it's a thing. So it definitely can affect you. Definitely had it, yep. Okay, that's the thing. So Cosmos, I would actually suggest, like, let's say you focus, like, when it happens, how does it feel? Do you have any repetitive phrases playing in your head? Like, when it feels like that, is there something you're thinking or saying when it happens? Where does it hurt? How does it feel? How long does it last? How intense it is and all this stuff. You're basically scanning and just, like, asking yourself various questions, but as you're explaining yourself, some people are, like, repeating one phrase out like over and over again. It's kind of like their thing. It's their habit or whatever. But that is also a phrase that can control their life, and we're not aware of it because it's just so invisible. It's so obvious and in our face, but we don't like realize it. And all of a sudden, like, boom, it was a command. You were like playing and living on a hypnotic command. So like, that would be something to explore. Cosmos, do you feel ever like your body is being deformed? And I'm asking this because it's sort of like, No, I will never love you. For me, it's kind of like, even thinking about, like, let's say someone who you don't like or don't want just hugs you so tightly and doesn't let go, but that tight hug really starts hurting you. It's kind of like they're like really like sort of like aggressively, but just holding you so freaking tight that you might be like, no, let go, or I will never love you, and they're like just not letting go, but they hurt your body, and your body will remember the pain. And so like your body being squished, your chest, your stomach and everything else, like it just bursts with pain, and you start crying and all this stuff. And you know, these might be the things that sort of like pop up or like get triggered from the past life and all this stuff. Or pushed. Like whichever resonates with you more. Your idea of being pushed, definitely. They can have you, like that guy can have you against the wall and just like really pushing you, squeezing you to the point like, damn, it hurts, you know, like you might be choking, like you're like kind of like that. So it really depends where you feel it, but definitely, it's definitely a thing. Like leaving no space for you to breathe, to feel anything, and you're just sort of like suffering and suffocating and all this stuff. So that's when you sneeze. So yeah, there's a lot to it. Andromeda is asking, Aquila, why are the Andromedas here on planet Earth? I don't know, why do people get out of body and visit other planets? It's an experience. They might want something to do here. You ask them, buddy. Thanks, Cosmos. Yeah, like, I'm glad you're sort of looking into this, because, like, the more you can describe how it feels and start exploring, you literally can find, like, the most amazing things. And sort of, like, don't doubt yourself. Don't try to make it logical or anything else. It's sort of, like, whatever comes up, go with it. Because in the multiverse, there are so many experiences that, like, whatever you come up with, it's not, like, making things up. It has happened. It's just sort of, like, now, right now, you are aware of it. So all these feelings... literally, you can, in your past life, or literally doesn't even have to be the past life, there might be other aspects of you right here, right now, who have this, like, astral link with you. And that aspect of you can literally be squeezed, like, or, like, let's say, tied up to something, and, like, you can't get out, and they're, like, pulling this energy out of you and all this stuff. Tons of things can happen to that body. And whatever that body's going through, because of the connection, you might be the one picking up the results. So there's, like, a lot of triggers. And smallest things that, like, we feel various pains and all this stuff, literally, you explore the areas, like, phrases that are popping out, like, feeling states and all this stuff, and literally, you're like, okay, there's a thing happening to the R part of me, or, like, my past life, and it might be working like a hypnotic command, or literally, because it has happened in the past, and here I had some sort of a trigger, now that sort of thing is bleeding through. And so, like, while we might try acting and, like, acting out and just sort of, like, getting... It's kind of like, it's really good for changing the personality. But with the physical body pains, if you can't get rid of it, and, like, meditating and all this stuff is not working, I would say, like, clearing out things is helpful. But... I'm not rejecting it fully, but I know, like, using some parts of it can actually help. So there's that. Cosmos is also saying, like, I'm afraid I will become attuned to too many selves and I won't know how to integrate them. It's okay, you don't have to integrate them all. I would simply even choose, like, aspects that I would like to have, like personalities, abilities and all this stuff. Something you want here, you can sort of, like, download information, but they don't have to merge or anything. And so you simply sort of, like, become more aware, knowledgeable and all this stuff, but that's sort of, like, an upgrade. And sort of, like, nothing changes regarding your physical body or how you feel and think, but simply just having more information and like having this more confidence or like some feelings that's now can be different. Okay, scrolling back up to try to see the questions and all the stuff. Elaine is asking, Akvile, do you consider yourself an alien? Are we all? And because we are from the other dimension, please clarify. I used to call myself an alien. Because I just like felt like I'm out of this I'm out of another world. I just like don't feel like I'm from here. Like I can't relate to anyone, all this stuff. But as life goes, I'm sort of like, no, I'm just consciousness. I'm consciousness right now, having the human experience. But at any point in time, I can get like different body, different experience, and just go with that. So like human is an alien as well. If you look like from another being's perspective, if you look from the reptilian's point of view or someone else's, you look at human and for them you're an alien, you know. So like all of us, like the bodies could be aliens, but like eventually we're just consciousness with some sort of like vessel, you know. So it's like that, I guess. Tristan is asking, do you remember all your past lives? Do you know your personal vision, and is it clear focus and on why you're here? So when it comes to past lives, I would say yes, remember my past lives, but it's kind of like being in a massive library. All information is stored there. You can always access it. And so for me, if I want to look at my past lives, it's kind of like coming to a certain book section and you're like, oh, there's all of these experiences, and I'm going to look at a specific book, and then I can go from the beginning page until the end and sort of recall everything. So let's say for me, I have an open access to look at any of my past lives. It's not like everything is like I remember absolutely every single thing right here, right now, it's right in front of me, but more like it's right there. I have full access to it. At any point in time I choose to like, oh, this life specifically, I have full access and I look at it. But like, I don't need like everything overflowing. So whatever I want to look at, I sort of like, okay, here's my past life, and I will recall everything from the beginning until the end if I want to. But that will be like, hey, it's available there, go pick it up. But like, I don't have to have it right here and mix my lives and relationships and other things. Like I can have the knowledge and everything, but like I don't need to mix it up for this experience. So like, I do remember my past lives. I have the access to them at any point in time when I want it and all this stuff. Why am I here? I am here to help a few people. So there's that. Yeah, Johannes is asking like a cash queries. That's pretty much the thing. Like I've talked about in other videos and plenty of ways to explain it. I'm still scrolling down and like looking at the people talking about the shower meditations, which are awesome. Cosmos Knight is like asking, Akvile, are you familiar with objects triggering and with how they use it in the astral realm and creating us to entrap us? And can we completely revoke disagreements with objects? Yeah, you can completely sort of revoke it, and again, like we were talking about the body, like how the body can experience the pain, but literally it's because somewhere in the past, or like in this life or some other like time, you might have experienced something that caused you pain and unconsciousness, and sort of like you got into the state that sort of like it, something in the background, whatever people are saying, the TV, the radio, whatever is going on in the background becomes like a hypnotic command and it starts affecting you in weird ways. Same thing with objects. Some of the objects can be triggering. Because let's say maybe not in this life, but in the past, every time you saw this like little square box, you ended up like being followed by the government and being killed, or maybe it's like a little artifact or something, or just overflowing with the like information and other things and not being able to handle it. Tons of variations of what can happen in the past, and we see the same object like, damn, it's sort of like, I don't trust this thing anymore. So like that might be triggering to how you feel and how you react, but the same way we become aware of like, oh, it happened because somewhere in my life I got messed with and this is what happened, this is what caused it. And literally you can go through the whole experience and sort of like change up the whole scenario. Like with dreams, you can change everything that happened and create the whole new experience. So the same thing you can do with your agreements, or like let's say the moment when you were abused, or like something happened with the object that ended up triggering you, you change the whole experience from the beginning until the end and like sort of like create the positive outcome and end up sort of fixing it. So there's like lots of ways to fix the whole scenario. Safe Q Shaw is asking, okay, but I wonder who is the narcissistic non-human entity that claims to be creator of humanity. Some weird ass Senaki, I guess, like Anu, Marduk, and Lil, and Ki, and all the stuff. They're like the ones who are like sort of like assuming more of like, we're here, we're the rules and all this stuff. So a lot of variations, I guess. Darius is asking why perfectionism is draining a lot of energy and giving less enjoyment of what you did, and is it bad to be perfectionist? So my take on perfectionism is kind of like you want to reach that awesome result. And for example, you might be making a video, and for you, like Darius, like you might play the game, and now you're gonna spend your time making this really great video. You start making it and you start putting scenes and like other things, and like, okay, it looks good enough. But then you're like, well, I didn't add this part, I didn't add this part. So like eventually it becomes the part where you're not satisfied with yourself and you don't like how it looks like, or you're working on it but like it's still not happening. And you're working on that perfection, but what it does, eventually you stop. You're looking for this like better answer, you might go look for other ideas or other things and just sort of like do lots of other activities, but end up like working on one thing and not finishing it because it's not perfect. And you work on it, and it's like, it could be a little better. And then you work on like adding the better, and then something else was like, you're like, a bit more, and sort of like never satisfied with what you're doing on a specific project. And then you're like, okay, I'm gonna take a break now. But then it becomes really, really hard to come back to it. And now that was sort of like the time when you experienced a block. You were going, you're like, I'm gonna do this, and that got blocked. You stopped. Then next day you come back and you might not have enough inspiration. Next day you might have other things to do, and you start doing it. And you start working on something, and someone comes into your room or whatever, and now you need to take care of a present time problem or like a thing, and you get stopped. But you stop on the project. And stop after stop, block after block, you end up sort of resisting whatever you were doing. You lose the interest and passion in it. And all of a sudden you're like, you don't want to go there anymore. And this is where you start getting this whole, I don't know, like depression. Like whatever you were doing that was sort of like so amazing, and you were working on like this like massive project, like it was so good. And you like, it might be like working out, like I'm just gonna get this whole body, I'm just gonna go do this thing. And you work and work and work, and then you stop, or like, you know, it's just not where you want it to be. Stops, blocks, and other things. Little by little it builds up to the point where too many will start like making you feel like, hey, I don't want to do it anymore. It's just like, I'm gonna finish it later, but later doesn't come. And you're stuck with it of being blocked and not wanting to do anything, to the point where you are rejecting to do those things and projects because, like, you know, it's just not there where you want it to be. And eventually people end up being afraid to start. Like, for example, making a video. I might make a video and end up like editing for a few days, and I upload it and like boom, like maybe YouTube rejects it, maybe I'm like, well, it could be better. And eventually like I work, I stop, and all of a sudden like I don't like it anymore. I don't want to do this anymore, and like I will shift and all this stuff. So like I feel like the perfectionism. I like what Gary says. Just like fuck that stuff. You know, like it's just gonna be there to stop you and kind of like limit you, because like you're never gonna be satisfied with certain projects for yourself, and you keep wanting more, but at the same time you stop doing things and you stay in one place. You're stuck. And for people, most of us just need a starting place. Most of us just like, if you start reading, if you start working out, it's like, oh, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. And you were resisting for a whole year, or a few months, or a few days and all that stuff, and you start, it's like, actually, like, hey, it's much more fun than I thought it would be. And like the more you can do, and like making mistakes is okay, learning from those mistakes is even better, and all the stuff. But yeah, I would say like perfectionism isn't the best thing. Saeed is asking, Akvile, can the Anunnaki starseeds be trusted? And it really depends on the individuals. Can humans be trusted? Well, you know some people who you trust with all your heart, and some who are like, damn, I don't like those people, I'd never. You know, so like really, Anunnaki starseeds, who are you talking about specifically? What being, the name, and like everything else? Or just the whole race and all this stuff? Generalities don't work. Be specific. Chaotic Phoenix is saying, I'm an SSP experiencer and had been put into the 20 and back unofficially by kidnapping my conscience in a clone, or super soldiers I call them. Damn. It's funny because just today I was sort of like wondering, like maybe talking to people like that, like people who've been through the secret space program, 20 and back, my lab and all this stuff, kind of like interviews where people want to show up on videos or not, it's okay. Like, sort of like sharing the experience, because like a lot of people are experiencing it but they don't know about it. And if those who have been through it that are aware of it would just sort of like talk about what they've been through and just share the story, I think a lot of us could sort of like learn and sort of like, damn, like this is totally a thing. So yeah, I'm wondering about like maybe getting in touch with some people, seeing if I can ask them some questions now, upload videos. Elaine is saying, I'm so sensitive to others that their pain is literally taking me down. I pick up everyone's pain every moment of every day. How in the heck do I stop it? It hurts so much. I would like try to sort of like, this whole picking up everyone's pain, there might be this like, let's say, astral mechanism or anything that works like a sponge, or like this program that would literally, everyone who is experiencing negative stuff, that little mechanism will attract everything and take up all their bad stuff. And it's not gonna remove it from them, it's just gonna connect you to it. And now you're attuned to this whole mechanism, feeling everyone else's pain and just sort of like being overwhelmed with it. So like I would start looking for like things like that and sort of like just like your visuals will be enough to destroy them. Like these mechanisms, disconnecting the cords from people, creating this whole bubble of energy and sort of like keeping it safe and not allowing yourself to connect with them. I would sort of like program like this whole thing of deflecting it. So when you're around people and that stuff might come to you, like the negativity, it is gonna deflect or even transmute it. So that would be a thing as well to try out. Cosmos Knight is saying, like regarding the karma, but you say that that the law affects us no matter if we know it or not, or is it not the law? So when it comes to karma, and I'm talking about like not buying it, in the past there are times where we might hurt others. For example, we're just playing a role and we might be enjoying ourselves, but someone might get hurt. Those people will probably want to like, hey, that person is bad, and like we here on Earth, some of us want to punish reptilians and entities and like oh they did bad to me, I'm gonna go back at them and all this stuff, and we're sort of like if I got slapped, like an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth and all this stuff. This kind of thinking, it stays with a lot of people, and not necessarily us, but like you might have done something, so literally there will be other people who are like, well, if you hurt me, I'm gonna hurt you back. And it is not the law, it is not like karma or anything, but simply people are like, hey, you hurt me, don't do that, and they will try to teach you a lesson. So like you might not know that you have hurt them or that they feel that way, but they know what you did to them from their perspective, and they might come at you. So it's not the law, like just because some of these things happen and we're not aware of it, it's okay, but it does not mean that you're getting like hunted or like it's gonna happen for a reason. Like as in like there's a law and you're gonna have to get in pain or whatever no matter what. No, it's more like we might do something that we're not aware of. For example, maybe you're helping old lady to cross the road, and that day she dies. Like, not on the road, she goes home and maybe she just falls asleep and she dies. But one of her relatives, like, sort of like, oh, I saw her with this person who helped her cross the road, it might have poisoned them, and all of a sudden, they have their own assumptions and they come at you. So, like, it's not like you did anything bad, but literally the person has, like, a wrong understanding and might come at you, and you have no idea about what's going on in their world, but simply, let's say, if some of the beings are affecting us, and I'm talking more of, let's say, entities and, like, other ETs and all this stuff, you can always talk to them. You can always like sort of solve everything by talking and creating. You don't have to like kill them or anything. It's more like, oh, I'm sorry, I had no idea that like I hurt you that way. I'm really sorry, how can I help you? And sometimes all they want is sort of like, you can literally create them a world, recreate things that you might have destroyed in the past, remove the pain and sort of like undo everything, switch a different timeline where they can have it all. Like you literally can offer tons of options of how you can help them and undo what you did that like might have them target you. And by talking, by being nice, by being attentive and listening and caring about others, you can solve absolutely everything. With some people, but literally you can like solve like everything. Like literally, there might be some reptilian groups and they're attacking people because humans were attacking them at some point in their life, and now you come at this whole thing like, oh, why are you attacking humanity? Well, because like 5,000 years ago they destroyed our spaceships and like all of our kids died, and you're like, damn, I'm so sorry. What if I literally recreate the whole ship and everyone that died will be living again? Would that be okay? Would you stop like attacking humanity if we did that? They're like, yeah. And you literally create that and they're like, okay, thank you, we're gonna go do our own things. bye, and literally they leave, then they stop attacking. So like, there's like lots of ways how you can solve things, but it's more like, whatever you do to others, they might not like it. It's like some people here in the chat like, oh well, reptilians are attacking me, so I'm gonna get them back. Or like, I wanna be a ghost and fuck with people. I wanna get into someone else's mind and control them. Well, if you have some such urges, people might see you as a bad person and like might want to come after you and all this stuff. So there. Gabriel is asking, Akvile, why would we want to choose to incarnate here? How can I know why I incarnated and chose this experience? One of the things is like a lot of us come here on Earth against our own free will. We are being forced, we're being pushed, we're being deceived. You might literally be out there in the multiverse doing your own thing. And some of these CTs or beings sees us as idiots. Simply said, when you're doing your own life, how many times do you think about ants? How smart are they? How are they living? How are they doing? Not much, I guess. You're more like carrying on your own business and yourself, and maybe your puppy, maybe your cat, maybe your person and all this stuff. But ants, not so much. And so, some people might see us like, oh, we just literally don't exist in their thoughts. They're literally like, it's just food source or whatever. And, you know, like, the way we're like, oh, just chicken, we're just gonna eat them and all this stuff, it's just this, it's fishes, come on, fishes don't really have feelings, do they? And some people will have these beliefs and all this stuff, and, you know, with us, we believe that we are good beings, or at least most of us do. We're like, oh, well, I care about you, I'm empathic, I understand your pain, how can I help you? I feel bad if I do something that hurts you, and we have a lot of these like thinking and feeling and all this stuff. And eventually, we live in a way where we're trying to make sure we don't hurt others, or we can help if it's possible. And that ends up being like, let's say, out there in the multiverse, you're helping out other beings, and there's a group who comes like, hey, look, in the 3D on Earth, there's this war going on, and a lot of people are in pain, and you're the healer. You're the only one who can help them out, and they're gonna be an awesome salesman. And it's actually an insult to the salesman because he's even worse, but basically, they're just gonna tell you a bullshit story. They're gonna play with how you feel, how you think about yourself and all this stuff. And you're basically like, oh, well, yeah, I'm a good being. I care about others. I like helping others, and yeah. And they don't tell you the truth about everything, but they play with your feelings and who you are and your values, and they trigger you, and you end up like, yeah, I can help, and you go and boom, like they got you, they limit you. Now you got the mind, you got the other things getting in the way and all this stuff. So it definitely happens. Like, a lot of people come here on Earth, but not on their own free will, but more because they were deceived, because they were forced and all this stuff. Of course, a lot of people come here on their own free will, but like, again, you might have heard a weird story and you feel like you're gonna come here and help, and you come in and you're like, oh, what the fuck? Why am I here? And like, we forget everything and all this stuff. So there's that. Others not come here because they like love other people, because they want to connect with some, because they think they have a mission to do and they want to help or whatever, because they want to teach, because they simply want to experience what it's like being human on Earth and all this stuff. Like, lots of variations. So tons of reasons why this can happen. And for yourself, just like ask yourself, like, why am I here? Why did I choose this experience? And did I choose this experience? And basically, each and every one of us, we have this like inner lie detector. So if you ask yourself a question, the first answer that pops out, like, your consciousness knows it all. You literally will have the access to this information, and so you ask yourself the question, you get the answer right away. So there's that. Tristan is asking, Akvile, have you seen anime Spirited Away? Yeah, I think like if you look at that, like I have a poster of Spirited Away, kind of like over there, yeah. There it is. It's a good one. I like this. Meaningful and all. Okay, people, so I've been talking for a while and all, and like I know like a lot of you are still asking questions and all this stuff, but I think I'll be taking a break and do some other stuff for a while, like you know, like wrap up the stream and all. But like, yeah, how are y'all doing? What's up? I feel like we're gonna stream tomorrow, and at the same time, like I'm gonna talk to Cosmos, and on the 27th, we're gonna do this live stream where we're doing live sessions. So if any of you want to join and tune in and try doing the whole work on yourself, it's there. But yeah, like I think like it's been good. Like it's been a while since I've streamed, so I'm still like trying to get in the zone and everything else. But yeah, we'll see. Like I think like I'll wrap it up for today because I've sort of like taken care of things, or like at least assume I did enough for myself, so just gonna do other stuff. But yeah, again, everyone, like I do enjoy talking to all of you, hearing about your stories, what you're thinking, what you're going through and all the stuff, and just being here for you, sharing anything that might be helpful or anything. So yeah, like I appreciate you all showing up and sharing your experience and everything else. And yeah, just like also like the massive donations, appreciate it as well. So stay tuned. I'm gonna make more videos in the future. I'm glad you're, just supporting me, offering me to do things, giving me tons of great questions. I really love you. And hey, if no one else told you today, like, hey, I love you. You're awesome. You're freaking powerful. You're the awesome being. Don't forget the powers you have. You are targeted sometimes. Sometimes you will have bad days. But remember that in the end, you're the one that has all the powers. You're the one can manifest absolutely everything. So stay with these thoughts and take care of yourself. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.